Hello there. So this is gonna be the first in probably a 4-part series. I'm not actually sure at all. I have to do the math on what I'm gonna show in each video, and break it up a while. Anywho, I did the first signature section because this doesn't count as a signature because it's not done here. See, if this was done as a like this, and then I press down, that counts as a signature because it's a booklet. But this ain't. This is using a side sew method that I've found works pretty well. As you can see, I have 9 holes in total. You can pause the video and check if you want. Anywho, so basically, 1, skip a hole, 2, skip a hole, 3, skip a hole, 4, skip a hole, 5, skipping a hole here, whatever. These little X's, these 4 X's, basically represent sewing a whole segment together. If that makes sense. I'm not sure if it does. Anywho, so basically what happens is you sew up this page 1, right? Let me just focus on that real quick for you. Yeah, page 1, page 50. Pretty cool, right? Page 51, page 100. It's all pretty chill here. Now this one, as you can see, has holes poked in, but if you actually see it, it's only poked in fully on the first side. The rest is, still under work. I should be able to finish it and probably film a second part or extend this video. We'll see, because my storage space is running low on this one. So if it times out, Anywho, basically how this one was made was pretty simple. I just let it in, out, and then tied it out here. I might use glue on this. Also, if you use this method, please note that if you trim too much, like this one here, this ain't a good example because I glued it, but that was because when I used to open it like this whole thing would just it'd go past it, and it'd just sit on the string here somewhere. So that's a little thing to note. So yeah, you'll notice the margins are extremely massive in this one, extremely big. The text is pretty readable. It is a bit close on the edge, too close probably for my liking. This one, I don't think I've ever used a press for these blocks yet. I probably will sometime. And if you really look at this one, you'll notice that it is not as aligned as this one. So that could be a problem. Remember though, we're binding individual sections, except for these little holes right here, which are gonna go through all 5 sections. Now this copy, the reprint by Hasbro Wizards of the Coast, has 240 pages, which, doing the math, that means that if I have 2 sections done, in total 100 pages, 100 divided by 240, that would be 5/12. I hope. Yeah, that sounds about right, 5/12. Anywho, because each of these sections will have 50, except for the final one, which has 40, if that makes sense. Okay, so this is the demon section. This is where all the combat tables are located, so this is probably the best section to print out. I will be printing out the next 101 to 150 very soon. Now here is the Gamma World GW1 module. Now, I kind of have to speed run this because it's going to blank out shortly because my storage space is running out. And here it is. As you can see, this was my first binding. It wasn't the best, but it's pretty good. Yeah, my side sew technique hadn't fully developed, and as you can see, the margins are really short. See how it fades into the margins? The other one doesn't, so, but that's a bit too wide, so it's Please note that I'm just testing whether all the holes are perfectly lined up. I put let me just show you guys real quick. If I put you guys back here. Basically this is a clamp. This thing is a little strip of paper. It's going through both sides just so that it doesn't really leave a big mark on us. The weight's also there just to make sure we don't apply too much force. I was also thinking of putting this guy on a piece of foam, but I find that the foam doesn't work as well because it usually causes the papers to become slightly misaligned. So basically what we're doing here is we're just puncturing holes. Obviously taking care not to go through the whole sheet. Here you can see I'm actually sacrificing my finger here, because if that went through so I'm just putting a bunch of force on it, whirling it around a bit, creating a bit more room. And here, back away a bit so you guys can see that. See, it didn't really make an indent so much. Wait, let me. Is it possible to zoom in? Can't tell if this is zooming in or not. Whatever. Yeah, there's like a little hole there, as you can see. So what we're gonna do is put some immense force on this, and it should eventually go through. Now this one's marked with an X, and as you can see, it made it through the green paper. Thankfully, it didn't. Hopefully, leave an impression on the actual workspace. Now here is the easier part, in my opinion. Basically, we take the foam, just give it a stab. Yeah, I was weird there for a second. The sound. Anywho, I should have put a bit less force. Yeah, it slid through the paper like it was butter, as you can see. Hopefully, I don't know. That thing, the amount of force there was insane. You do not want that to happen to your finger when you're binding a book. Anyway, we continue the process again. We check every so often. Okay, that one's a big hole on the big mat. Right here, right now, we fold the book inward. It's my preferred way to do it. And we just stab it most of the way through. Here I'm taking care not to, fully go through everything. Also, if you guys can't tell by my workspace, I do a bunch of different hobbies. That also includes terrain making and programming. Now here's the needle that's going to be going through these holes. As you can see, it's on a bit of terrain. Very useful. And as you can see, there is a difference here. This is called an awl. This is what you use to, poke a hole here. And this is a needle. Thankfully, I've never pricked my finger too bad on this one. This one I have, but it doesn't hurt so much. It's a bit blunted. It is a bit rusty though. Couldn't use this. I got my tannish on it. So, okay, continuing. As you can see, thinner all around. Even this this little head piece or whatever you want to call it. I always forget the name of this. Let me try and zoom in here. The eye, yeah. Anyway, basically the eye is roughly the same size as the bottom of the awl. Roughly. Which basically means what exactly? It just means that you kind of want to follow through so that there's no resistance in the needle. Out of all 9 holes, we only have after this one, we only have 2 more to go. This is our 7th, I believe. Yeah, we drill through this bit. See, there's a bit of indents, but nothing major. And we just continue with forces to go. Okay, this one's making it. It's going pretty well. A bit more force. Okay, that didn't really hurt the mat too much. Now this is the secret. You gotta bend it and then, but not too much, because you still want it to remain the same. See, it's just the same, except now I'm gonna take the needle or all out, whatever you want to call it. Well, I call it something else at the workstation. Yeah, I'm gonna make a pause for this. I'll show you guys soon, is what I mean. Okay guys, we are back. As you can see, I penetrate my bed. I put a bunch of holes through these eyes with the awl. Anywho, you could have the awl on standby, and I like that. But this little tool I made, this little grip handle, I know it's kind of childish. What you use this for is if there's like a little needle or like a little piece of string, it helps unravel it without breaking it so much. So yeah, this is just a paper clip at one point. Here is the thread that we're going to be using. It's 100% cotton. I know it's not the best. You could use linen, but I will still be applying some glue to the spine in the end. It won't be perfectly, perfect bound because it's side sewn. The idea is just to make each section more flexible than the last. And this final binding through and through should work, and we are going to be making headbands. I've envisioned a way for that to work. Basically, we will glue this side and this side of the thing. So yeah, and then we'll do something similar, but I think we can only use like one color. There's some reasons for that. So yeah, we'll see. This is the string we're going to be using. This is the string from a couple projects ago. Also, another useful part about this little tool right here is you can use it to take it off pretty easily. Bingo. Oh no, that just ripped off some cotton. Okay, I'm gonna throw that in the garbage because if that gets into your lungs, it's pretty bad. Okay, so yeah, that's one way to do it. Please wait. Okay guys, I am back. I have the string that was originally in here. Luckily though, I do like having backup string. It's definitely not going to be enough. Yeah, let me show you my policy here. Anywho, basically, if the string is double the length of the paper, you can expect it to possibly work. So I like to just take the full thing and, cut away the excess as I go. Obviously, that's not for everyone, and sometimes there's waste string. Also, I have a little boy here I like to use. This one's incredibly sharp, incredibly small. It works really well. Swiss Army knife. Yeah. And then here's the, screwdriver. Now I find this can also work to like undo knots pretty well. And my favorites. This is probably the sharpest scissors I have in my collection. Not gonna lie. A bit of an endorsement here. Yeah. It's pretty good. You could probably cut this all in one go. Even like this double knot here. I think it's triple knot maybe. You can all cut it in one go, so yeah. And a little key ring, but I don't like those. Anywho, let's get back to work. As you can see here, here's the needle. And here is my, let me just sort through this because it's a bit of a mess on this table. Let me put everything to the side. Oh, also, really good note, always have extra clips nearby to clip down your paper. I like just to use one big one to the side, opposite side, because as you can see, it's kind of lifting the paper up. Here it starts to just like naturally go down, and I made sure that the spine was pretty straight. Keyword is pretty straight. And then I will probably use some sandpaper, and I will color the edges once all of them are assembled. I'm envisioning a gold color with like headbands that are, of like yellow goldish variety, but we shall see. As usual. Yeah, so there's the eye, and you just want to put the string through, and you have to do, usually a double knot is recommended, so it doesn't come undone so easily. So just please wait. Okay guys, that took way too long. For you guys, it probably just seemed to happen, but it took me a couple minutes. And a couple quick tips and tricks for getting it onto the needle. You could use beeswax, right? I find works well. You could use a candle, or you could just use saliva, which honestly tends to work somewhat well. It doesn't work as well because it doesn't cause things to stick. Rather, it's just, you know, making it wet, so, yeah. You could use glue, but you can't really because glue doesn't let it, you know, get out. And you want to put it on the end, you know. It doesn't work so well. Unless you have washable glue, then in theory you could do it. Okay, so here's the sharp little guy. Okay, I'ma get to work here. Just pulling the length of the string. Remember, it has to be at least double the paper, in my opinion. But I'm not even gonna cut the string yet. I'll keep it attached to this thing. But it's better if you don't have it attached because there's more maneuverability. Just zoom in if I can. Okay, that should be good enough. Now I actually can't see what you guys are fully seeing because there's like a little red recording bar. And this guy, okay. Now the key is always pull away from yourself. Like I know this sounds like, you know, basic safety advice, but you always want to pull away from yourself. Okay, remember guys, these X marks mean that we skip the holes there. And basically what I'm doing is I'm going from please remember it's not as good as the first binding, the first set of pages, because okay guys, another little tip is actually to separate them all. Okay, let's go back to work. Okay, I got a nicer recording platform just so you guys can see it more. Remember guys, always pull away from yourself because you don't want to, you know, for this to go flying like right at you, which is what could happen right now. See, and you'd be in trouble. Yeah. I also just noticed that this went through the wrong hole. So another trick I like to use here is feeding the needle back through rather than pulling it out. However, you want to make sure that the needle doesn't get caught on the string, which is pretty tough to pull. If this works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. The best way to know is if that happens. And then it becomes undone. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see everything. So. Yeah, so avoid the X's, not like what I just did. Okay. Let's feed it through the hole. I'm not curious. Kind of curious. Get some face there. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this little trick again, but this time we're gonna wave the paper. As you can see, this is incredibly tricky. Is the nice word for this. Away from yourself. Damn it. Okay, this is where having a couple tools on standby kind of helps a lot. Okay, let me just put everything here, organize it, and then okay, this is kind of tricky. I don't think my all will be good enough. Yeah, please stand by. Okay, it just turns out that I think all that needed happened was it needed a bit of a squeeze. Slightly. Okay, again, we're gonna use this method. Pull away from yourself. Yeah, this is why I already had the first segment already finished. Because I did not want to, you know, do this on video. Oh, yeah, we punctured a hole there. Okay, good news is, seems to go through perfectly now. Give it a bit of a pull. And what I like to do here is I actually like to loosen it up a bit by pulling this little thing out. and then pulling it back in just a bit more. You don't want to bind it too tight, is what I'm saying, because eventually it's gonna tighten up by the end, gradually, due to friction and other things that was easy, because I actually made the hole pretty well. That's why I do recommend piercing it once more before you go through it. Just run your all through it, just to, like, enlarge everything. Because at the top it's all good, but if you don't run it through the bottom as well, there can be difficulties sometimes. Okay, let's just confirm I went over and under the X's. That looks about right. That also looks about right. Okay, now this is the hard part. We want to make sure that the thread and the needle don't, get caught. Okay, see, that one went perfectly through. Leave it on. Loop this one over, otherwise you could have a problem. Okay, again, this one's a bit of a struggle, so we may have to use our trusty awl again. Okay, pull back, pull forward. Yeah. Okay, that is why. It's because it did go through the string. I don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah. Okay, I just fixed that by pulling the string. As you can see, it did. Since it's cotton, it's, less strong, but at the same time, I kind of had to do it, so. Will it weaken the binding? Not so much, but, that's why I recommend that you have, like, a little extra space. I don't know if you guys can see that. To, like, poke it through. But, even sometimes that doesn't work, so you have to. There's another method, which is basically where you push it in one way, and you push it out the other way. And hopefully I can do this right. Please don't say that. Yeah, this is gonna take a bit of time. I know this is a pretty relaxing thing to do though, so I like to do it over weekends and other things. Yeah, and just make sure everything's going. Yeah, I cannot honestly think. So my solution to that is to come through page by page. Look at that. And that one actually slid pretty nicely through. Then you just pull the strings a bit, tighten it all up, and if there's not enough room, you just feed a bit more string into it manually. Just remember, guys, skip the X's and you should be fine. Okay, it's been finished. Okay, the spine, I'll probably put some light on that, because I definitely, because of pressure. Spine-wise, it is not perfect. But we can even sand the spine. I'm not too worried about that, because we didn't actually, put anything on. Or we could put paper on it at the end. I don't really think there's an issue with that. Yes, now how do you finish this? Now couldn't you go like this? You could, like that, but sometimes it might like expand or something and get out. So what I like to do instead is I bring it back through the loop once more, right here on this end. And I know it's sometimes like a waste of string, but here, let me just. I really hope that I don't put that through any other string. Yeah, so basically it's 2 strings thick over there, so it's not bad, but it's not, great. Then what you do here is you quickly just tie it under these 2, go through, and line it up. And now this is the hard part. You take this and this, take this and this, you lead the two together, if I can do this just right. You start to close it in, like this. If this works. Okay. Now there's, 3 sets of string, as it were. Again, this is just a standard double knot now. And the reason why we secured it to this string is just so it's easier. Eventually we might put glue on this. And now we're going to use my favorite kind of scissors. To trim off the ends. Now I recommend doing it about one of these long, just as long as this one joint or one piece of bone in your finger. You can use any, but yeah, just so it doesn't too big, but isn't too small either. So there's that one. Now this one's the hard one because it's the needle, and you cut that to roughly. I forgot if I did the double knot, so I'm really hoping I did. Okay, and that's that. We obviously put this in here. This way, nothing can happen. Actually, kind of hurts if you do that, but yeah. Okay, thankfully we didn't have to do too much. Here's the 2 sets. I will be showing you guys very soon what they look like. First, I'll take this off. Now, as you guys can see, I'm actually checking this over right now in real time because I want you guys to see my reaction, but yeah, it looks alright. There's no real marks from these two. Also, as you can see, I just used this, and put it in between the two. This way both sides of the page are hopefully nice. Because I found that these guys can make marks over time. Like you give it more than a couple minutes. And sometimes, paint comes off or something else. And yeah, it's not great. Okay. So, let me just clean this up for a bit. As you can see, I just have like a whole thing right here. And yeah, this is actually my desk that I'm doing this on. But that's why we did it on my actual workspace earlier when we did the piercing of all this. Now, spine-wise, we'll have to see, honestly. Oh, that looks like blue. No, it's fine. Yeah, there's just something on this workspace. As you can see for this one, I actually have to use a different method, which is kind of like tying on both sides, knots. I find that this method is slightly inferior. I've worked on a couple of other projects besides these ones already. As you can see, string is a bit loose on some of these. But honestly, I couldn't care less. Because the whole point of binding is just to secure it. That's mostly the meaning of, binding. Also, if you really wanted to, tighten everything, you could twist and turn them. But I'm going to say this anyway. You see all these X holes and stuff like that? They should line up pretty well. And that's what I'm going to be